Hi Aries, welcome to your reading. If you're new to the channel, I do timeless readings, which means that whenever you find this video is when you're meant to hear the messages within it. And in case you subscribe, I upload my new videos for Aries and Libra on Mondays. The deck that I'm using today is called the Robin Wood Tarot. And as always, if you guys are interested in getting a personal reading, the link is in the description. So I'm just going to keep shuffling these cards until we have around 8 cards, sometimes 9. But I do want to mention that sometimes the cards will flip over in the deck. I do see them, however, I usually don't take them unless they jump out. I'm going to go ahead and take these 2 cards. I just looked at the time on the timer, and it was 111. 111. So I think that for a lot of you guys are seeing a lot of strong synchronicities right now. Alright, you guys. So, just as a quick reminder, if you enjoyed the reading, leave a like or a comment. But your overall energy is the 3 of Wands here, which is very interesting because I see the 2 of Wands also, but it feels very separate and distinct from this 3 of Wands, right? And usually when I see any of the first 3 cards of the Wands together, I always refer to this sort of like planning process, right? Whereas the Ace of Wands is sort of a new situation, a new experience, new information that you're taking in. And then the 2 of Wands is sort of building a plan based off of that. Whereas the 3 of Wands is you already have executed your plan and now you're waiting to see what your results are, right? So I think that right now you guys are waiting on some things. I'm doing a lot, like taking inventory almost, because you have the 3 of Wands also with the 7 of Pentacles, which to me means a lot of that energy. But I think overall now is kind of a time of waiting, because the 3 of Wands sort of implies and insinuates that moment of having to sit down and wait for those ships to come in. However, I'm looking at your reading and it looks very positive, right? We have a lot of powerful cards here. A lot of powerful major arcana, right? So we have the Wheel of Fortune, the Judgment, the Fool, and the World. And those are a great combination to have because there's an air of finality around what you're doing. And there's an air of new, powerful, exciting beginnings, right? So just kind of going left to right in columns, we have the Wheel of Fortune. And the Wheel of Fortune, like I said, is another one of those powerful major arcana. I really like this particular Wheel of Fortune because at the top it has sort of this happy, exciting energy, and then at the bottom it has sort of the very sad, like depressing kinds of energy, you know, sort of to symbolize that life has its ups and its downs, and I feel like that's what you're doing right now, because whenever I see the Wheel of Fortune in the upright, it always to me feels like you're going from the downswing to an upswing. Right, so I think that maybe in the past, just hopefully this is a little bit easier to see. I think that in the past you've been in this very sad energy, and now you're sort of swinging up to this positive energy, and that just goes with the ebb and flow of life. But another aspect of the Wheel of Fortune, which I think might be a lot more important to a lot of you guys, is divine timing. And you have the Judgment card, which further compounds on that. But like I was saying, the divine timing aspect, I feel like you guys were a little bit ahead of the game in a lot of ways. I feel like you were trying to do things and trying to implement things. I'm getting it for some of you, you might have like tried to start a business or something, and it just wasn't the time. And as a result, things didn't really pan out the way you would have liked. But I feel like right now you're ending out a cycle. With this World card, we have a powerful ending, a sort of reset button. So I feel like right now you guys are entering a new powerful cycle and stage of your life. It's very interesting that I wanted to sort of say cycle, but I had the word stage on my tongue. So I'm getting it for some of you. You guys might be going into acting or pursuing some kind of a career in theater. But like I was saying, the World card symbolizes sort of the ultimate ending. So you guys are entering a cycle here, especially with this Fool card. Like, the energy is so clear that you guys are going on to better and bigger and better things, and it's a very new and fresh energy. I get the energy that you've been sort of following a situation very closely. Also, I looked at my clock again, and it was at 555. So like I said, powerful synchronicities for a lot of you guys. But the Judgment card here tells us that you've been sort of, I feel like, for lack of a better word, passing judgment on a situation. Especially with this Seven of Pentacles, because the Seven of Pentacles, like I said, is like sort of my taking inventory card. So I feel like you guys have been following something very closely and examining it. Almost like putting a spreadsheet in with numbers, kind of a level of detail, and you just have your eyes set on something. And I feel like I said earlier, maybe it hasn't worked out in the past, but you guys are determined, especially because I'm looking at the symbolism of this Justice card. Right, we have what seems to be a phoenix in the back. And I feel like you guys right now are going through a moment where you're being reborn from the ashes. I feel like there may have been some issues in the past, but now you're using what you learned to your advantage, right? And this Fool card further compounds that, because the Fool is such a powerful new beginning. Like, you guys are doing phenomenal right now. And I feel like maybe in the past you haven't, but now things are sort of starting to clear up. I don't know why I'm getting, like, sort of this image of the cup. In, like, I think that it pertains, maybe a lot of you guys were over drinking, I feel. And, like, now you've sort of cut back on the sauce a little bit, and now you're sort of seeing what... I'm getting that very strongly for some of you. I feel like some of you guys have cut down on the alcohol, and you've sort of been keeping track of it, and you've been monitoring it, and now you're trying to see, like, what your benefits are. I'm getting that very strongly for at least one person out there. But now that you're seeing this new beginning, this is for, again, the most of you. Now that you're seeing this new beginning, you're going into this new planning stage, right? You have the world in your hand, and you're sort of looking towards what it is that you should do moving forward. And I feel like for a lot of you guys, you just cleared up a lot of, like, energy in the past that you had to clear up, and now you're sort of open and ready for a relationship. Because I see this Ace of Cups, and the Ace of Cups is a very powerful new beginning. Usually in relationships, sorry, I meant to say in relation to relationships, but that just kind of, like, slipped out of the tongue, right? So I feel like in the past, maybe, like, in the past, you guys were dealing with somebody who sort of made you flub up on your words and couldn't quite communicate in the best way, and you were nervous around them. But I feel like now you're coming back as this King of Wands, right? And the King of Wands is a great card for you guys to have, because the King of Wands represents your energy. King of Wands is Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. So the fact that you have this King of Wands and you're in Aries, it makes you guys, I feel like you guys right now feel super powerful and super in your energy. And that's going to be great for when you return back into this love situation or start a new love situation, whatever it is for you, with this Ace of Cups, because, you know, now you're going to go and it's going to be very powerful, right? And even if you can't express yourself or they can't express themselves immediately right off the bat, it's going to be one of those things where in the end you understand what you're trying to say. Also, I just want to point out some of the significance of the numbers, because you have 0 going into 1, going into 2, going into 3, and then you have 21 going back to 0, right? And really, you have 20 going into 21, going back to 0. So I feel like for a lot of you guys, you're getting that sort of sense of like ending out the cycle. And I feel like this last little bit might be a little quick and a little hectic for a lot of you guys. Also, I looked at my clock again, 10:10. You guys are going to definitely see a lot of powerful... There's a lot of sort of divine intervention here. So if you guys were feeling like you couldn't quite get the things that you wanted done, now is going to be... This is a game changer. But that was your reading for this time around, Aries. If you enjoyed, please consider leaving a like or a comment because it really helps out the channel. And I personally really love to know if these readings resonate with you guys. But like I said earlier, I upload my new Aries videos on Mondays. But in the meantime, you guys are more than welcome to watch any of my other timeless readings. And with that, I hope to see you guys next time for your next reading.